start recording. And then whenever you're ready, take it away.
Awesome. Jehan, obviously, first season in Formula E, first season at least racing in Formula E. So overall, what have your thoughts been so far as we kind of rapidly approach the end of the season? It's hard to believe it's almost the end.
Yeah, definitely the season has gone by super quickly. I've had a lot of fun along the way. It's also been quite difficult at times. In my first season in this championship, being the only rookie on the grid this year, yeah, it's taken a bit of time to adapt, especially to the racing aspect of it. The amount of energy saving we have to do in these peloton races, but also try to move forward as much as possible to fight for good points. But I feel like I've taken a good step in the last few races, especially been more consistently closer to the top 10. And yeah, hopefully a good weekend in Portland and then finishing the year strong in London as well.
Do you feel like being the only rookie on the grid has given you kind of more pressure? You're kind of looked at as the only guy on the grid being the rookie. And does that give you some more pressure? Do you feel like that's pressure on you, or do you kind of not take that into account?
I don't put too much extra pressure on myself, to be honest. Anyways, at this stage of the season, I don't feel like I'm a rookie anymore. Obviously, I'm quite used to the car now. I got used to the championship. So yeah, I don't really keep the rookie excuse in my mind anymore, and I expect to be fighting, as close to the points as possible and always challenging for good results.
When you were a reserve driver at Mahindra, how did that really prepare you for this opportunity at Maserati MSG? I mean, what were you able to learn, take away from it, and then obviously getting a chance to ride in this Gen 3 car here in season two? I mean, do you feel you felt prepared heading into this journey, heading into the first season for you?
Yeah, obviously last year it was very limited being a reserve driver. I did do a lot of days on the simulator, but I only drove the car really once in Berlin. Uh, that was all the running I did throughout the season. So Valencia last year was my first proper time in the Gen 3 car. I would say I could. The good thing is I understood how the championship works, the background, the format, the car, the battery, all of the other stuff. Apart from the aspect of really driving the car, so it's still a huge advantage to be a reserve driver to be able to understand what's going on behind the scenes. And I do feel that that helped me coming into the season, not to start completely from scratch. At least I have some sort of background in the championship.
You touch base on the energy part of like learning the energy aspect of the series. What has that been like, figuring out strategies and just kind of attacking that portion of the series? Because that's what makes Formula E different than any other racing series that there is.
Yeah, I would say that's been probably the hardest part of the learning curve so far, the energy management in the races. Yeah, obviously we all have targets to hit in the race to be as efficient as we can from start to finish, but it's not so easy when you're in the pack and you have like cars around you, and then lifting down the straights. Also, trying to move forward, not lose positions, save energy. Just the whole mix of all of these things makes it really difficult as well. The guys I race against, they have most of them have a lot of experience in the championship, and you can see it that the guys with experience they kind of thrive and they're able to manage it better than the others. So I think it's a championship that takes time to get used to, and I feel like I'm getting more and more to grips with it now.
Prior to Shanghai, you were able to grab 2 points, obviously races for yourself out of the four in Misano and Berlin. So, I mean, like, do you feel like those races you were kind of feeling your footing, if you will, at that point in the season? Like, do you feel like you've gained your footing in the series and you kind of gained some, I don't know, confidence, if you will?
Uh, yeah, I would say like from Zan onwards, I feel like I've been more confident, especially in the racing management point of things. And I would like to be fighting, for points in all of the coming races. That's definitely going to be my goal for the next few rounds. So yeah, looking forward to being in Portland this year as a driver. I was there last year as a reserve driver. So yeah, excited to be on track this time and fighting there myself.
I was looking at your background. Is this your first time racing in the US in terms of professionally?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
What is that
That,
experience going to be like for you coming over to the US and getting to race professionally at a Portland track that has a lot of history? I can imagine that's got to be pretty cool to be a part of that.
yeah, it's going to be very exciting. You know, I watch IndyCar. I follow the IndyCar Championship very closely. So yeah, it'll be nice to for myself to be in the US. You know, I have some friends there as well who been past drivers in Formula 2 who are now in IndyCar. So they've always told me that it's nice in the US. So yeah, looking forward to racing there myself and having a good experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. What has been the reception overall in your home country with you racing in Formula E? It's been a while since we've had an Indian-born driver in Formula E. You're only the second one that's ever competed in Formula E. So what has been the overall reception from your home country and to be able to have that support as well? That's got to be a pretty cool feeling to have everybody behind you and supporting you.
Yeah, it's very cool to represent my country. Unfortunately, that race in India got cancelled this year. I'm sure it would have been a huge race, both for me and for all the Indian fans. But yeah, I still have a lot of support. I think it's still a growing sport in India. But I'm sure the amount of racing that is so close, it's so exciting. I'm sure it'll just become bigger and bigger. You know, in the end, India is a country where there's a lot of people, and it just takes one person to make a difference for such a big population. So yeah, hopefully, I can be that person in Formula E, and it keeps becoming bigger and bigger.
Absolutely, absolutely. Getting to jump in with Maserati MSG, I mean, what has been kind of the biggest thing you've learned so far this season in regard to just with the team, behind the scenes? Obviously, this is a new venture for you. So what has kind of been that big thing you've learned from the team and you've been able to take away into your racing?
Yeah, firstly, to be in my rookie season driving for Maserati MSG Racing was a huge privilege, a good opportunity for me in my first year of Formula E. I have taken a lot of learnings. You know, they've been really good. They understand the background I come from in Formula 2. Uh, and yeah, just trying to get me up to speed as quickly as possible as well. Being teammates with Max is quite helpful. You know, he has a lot of experience in the championship. He's a very quick driver, so to be able to see his data and just understand more and more about the car and the championship has helped me a lot. And yeah, it's a privilege for me, like I said, to drive for Maserati MSG Racing, and yeah, hopefully, I can continue here in the future as well.
Yeah, how important has that dynamic been with Max in your first season, kind of gaining information from him? Obviously, he's got a race win this year as well, so he knows what it takes to obviously grab a race win and such. But like, what has been the biggest advantage of having him? How important is that dynamic in Formula E to feed off your teammates?
I think it's more important, especially someone like Max who has a lot of experience in Formula E. His knowledge in the races, he gives good feedback to the team, and that helps us develop in the end. You can do a lot of development in software through the season, and just keeping on top of that. Me being able to see his data and driving where he's quick because he's been super quick this year. You know, he's going through the duels in many times this year, and it always gives me good data to look at and able to understand where I can always improve.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to ask you what it's been like on track. Obviously, there's been Formula E has seen a lot of race incidents. I think that's just kind of a part of the game and stuff. To be on track and kind of dealing with some of the traffic that can be involved, and obviously in racing, there's always going to be traffic. But I mean, especially in Formula E, it seems like there's a lot of contact. It's hard hitting to kind of work with that and to kind of be in the kind of the thick of things, if you will. What is that like mentally for yourself as a driver to kind of see all the chaos that can happen in a Formula E race? I imagine it's got to be a whirlwind, especially early on in the year when you're stepping into the car.
Yeah, definitely that was a new experience for me coming from driving cars with a lot of downforce. We don't follow each other that close. Most of the passes are done at the end of the straight in a braking zone or with DRS. While here you're literally like it's like go-karting, you're following each other bumper to bumper throughout the race. You have 22 cars within a couple of seconds for most of the race. So it's definitely very exciting. I'm enjoying the racing quite a lot. At times it can be very difficult, a lot of contact and constantly looking in the mirrors and ahead to make sure to get through unscathed. But I think that's what makes Formula E exciting. It's different to every other championship. You have world-class drivers, world-class teams, and yeah, it just makes that's what makes the racing good. You can start anywhere on the grid, and if you manage the race well, you can always come through and have good results. So I think that's why we all really.
Yeah, what I think your opportunity, what do you think your these opportunities in Formula E showcase for this series? I think that Formula E is becoming a great step and a great opportunity to race at a premier level. What opportunity does Formula E bring to drivers? And do you think that this series, I mean, the growth of this series looks like it's going to be exponential for the future?
Yes, I think Formula E has great potential. It's already come a long way in 10 years. And that's what attracts drivers, in the end. Even for me, uh, growing up, I always wanted to be a professional racing driver, and Formula E provides that for a lot of athletes, for a lot of racing drivers. It's great opportunity for all of us. In the end, like I said, what attracts all of us is the level of manufacturers in the championship, the level of drivers, the growth of the championship. So in the end, it's a very good place to be. It's a very good place to make a racing career, and it's not easy to be here or to stay here. So I think as an athlete, that kind of competition and that drive kind of burning desire always stays inside of you.
Let me ask you this for next season. Obviously, this year they introduced the manufacturers championship, and then I know for next season it's kind of going to be officially intact for next year in season 11 going forward. Do you think that's going to change the approach when it comes to like a manufacturer's perspective in regards to you as drivers and how you race on track?
For Sorry, what I missed the first part of the question.
Oh no, you're good. So with the new manufacturers championship added into the series,
Yeah.
how do you think that will change the approach for you guys as drivers on track in regards to kind of the system that we have in Formula E from manufacturers to the teams? Do you think that will change strategy, or do you think that what added impact will that have for you guys heading into next year?
Honestly, from a driver's point of view, I don't think it would change anything. Anyways, with your own teammates, there's always boundaries that you have to respect. You're driving for a manufacturer, so you have to understand uh that you race for the team, not only for yourself. And there's some
Mhm.
things you can and cannot do. So for my driver, I don't think anything's gonna change. You always wanna do the best you can, and the better you do, the more it helps your manufacturer. So that's always the mindset that you have. Unless you're told something on the track at that point. Apart from that, I would say nothing changes.
How excited are you for the Gen 3 Evo car coming out for next season? It's a really exciting time. Obviously, teams are already committing to Gen 4, but like obviously you have to get to the Gen 3 Evo first. But what are you most looking forward to about this new car, and how do you feel like this again pushes the limit of what Formula E is doing in terms of their development on with their on-track racing?
No, I think it's gonna be super exciting. We have a a new body kit, so hopefully some more aero, and as well, I think the introduction of all-wheel drive, especially for the duels and for attack mode, is gonna be very very exciting. All-wheel drive uh, is going to be finding us quite a lot of lap time. So you will see huge jumps between qualifying and the deals. And it will provide for exciting racing as well. In terms of managing the strategy, I think the attack mode will be a lot more powerful next season, as we see for this year. So I think all in all, it's a big upgrade and something that drivers are very excited for.
Yeah, for 2025, looking at the schedule, came out earlier this week. I mean, is there a track that's really catching your eye? Obviously, Double Monaco is going to be pretty sweet. So, is there kind of just a weekend or a track that you're looking forward to getting on and being able to race at?
Yeah, I think obviously I think Miami will be cool for everyone. And yeah, a double header in Monaco is a bit of a dream for all drivers. So a combination of the two as well. It would be my first time racing at Jakarta. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to all of those rounds as well. So yeah, it's the biggest ever season for Formula E. So that's something exciting for all of us, and definitely something to look forward to.
Do you hope to see India at some point back on the grid? Do you think that it's gonna be? Do you think it's just due time?
Yeah, I mean, there's one round TBC, so hopefully that one is that one is India. But uh, obviously, nothing. I mean, it's obviously as an Indian driver, you want to race in your home country. So yeah, hopefully India comes back on the calendar sooner rather than later.
I love it. I love it. Well, I guess to wrap up here for you, Jahan, kind of closing out, what do you just look for towards this end of the season? Obviously, 4 races left, 2 in Portland, 2 in London. What do you just hope to finish out here the rest of the way going forward? And then obviously for the off season, what do you got planned heading up after the season's completed?
Uh, Honestly, yeah, for now the plan is obviously do as well as possible in Portland. We'll be back on the sim next week in Monaco to get ready for the weekend in Portland. And yeah, between Portland and London, we have almost another month. Try to get moving on my position and my seat in Formula E for next season. As a driver, you want to secure your position as early as possible, so that's always going to be the target.
Absolutely. Well, Jahan, thanks so much, man. Really do appreciate it. It was great to get to talk to you, and hopefully I'll get to see you in Portland.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Greg. And we'll see you soon, Jehan.
Thank you. Thank you, Holly.
Bye.